He first noticed the shadows when he was 7. Not the normal kind, the ones that stretch when the sun moves or disappear when the lights turn on. These shadows stayed. They leaned a little too far. They moved a second too late. And sometimes they whispered. At first, the voices were soft, like air slipping through a crack. "Don't be afraid," a shadow murmured from the corner of his bedroom one night. The boy sat up, heart pounding, staring at the dark shape climbing the wall beside his closet. Moonlight cut across the room, but the shadow didn't match anything. It was taller than his chair, wider than his door. "Who are you?" he whispered. The shadow rippled, like it was smiling. "We're the ones who stay when the light leaves." He didn't scream. He didn't run. Something in him understood. These shadows weren't there to hurt him. Not yet. Over the next few weeks, he realized it wasn't just his room. Shadows spoke everywhere. At school, the shadow under his teacher's desk sighed heavily and said, "She's tired of pretending she's okay." In the hallway, shadows tangled together and argued in low voices about regrets, about things people never said out loud. The boy learned quickly. Shadows told the truth people buried. He tried telling his parents once. "The shadows talk," he said over dinner. His father laughed. His mother exchanged a worried glance and said he was just imaginative. After that, he kept quiet. Shadows liked that better anyway. "Adults never listen," one shadow whispered from beneath the dining table. "That's why we exist." As time passed, the shadows grew bolder. They began calling his name. At night, they stretched across his walls like reaching hands. "Tell her you're lonely," one urged. "Warn him," said another. "He's going to leave." The boy covered his ears, but it didn't help. Shadows didn't use sound the way people did. They spoke straight into the spaces between thoughts. One evening, walking home from school, he noticed something different. His own shadow lagged behind him. When he stopped, it didn't. "Why are you doing that?" he asked quietly. His shadow looked up at him, really looked at him, and spoke for the first time. "Because you're running from us." His breath caught. "You're not supposed to talk." "We weren't," it replied, "until you listened." That night the shadows gathered. Every dark corner of his room thickened, stretching and folding into shapes that almost looked human. "You hear us once," they said together. "What does that mean?" he asked, his voice shaking. "It means this gift doesn't last." Fear tightened in his chest. "I don't want to lose it." The shadows softened. "You will, but before you do, you must choose." "Choose what?" "Whether to listen or to speak." The next day at school, he saw the shadow beneath his best friend's desk trembling. "She's scared," the shadow whispered. "She's being hurt. She doesn't know how to ask." The boy's heart pounding. He wanted to look away. He wanted to pretend he didn't hear anything, but the shadows pressed closer, waiting. So he spoke. He told a teacher. He told the truth the shadow couldn't. That night his room was quieter, fewer whispers, fewer shapes. Days passed. The shadows faded. They still followed people, but they no longer spoke to him. Until one final night. His bedroom was almost dark when his own shadow climbed the wall one last time. "You used your voice," it said gently. "That's why we're leaving." "Will I ever hear you again?" he asked. The shadow smiled sadly. "No, but you won't need us anymore." The morning sun filled the room. The shadows shrunk back into their proper places, silent, ordinary, harmless. Years later, the boy grew up. He forgot the voices, forgot the whispers, but he never forgot the feeling, the weight of unspoken truths. And somehow, without knowing why, he became the kind of man who noticed when people were hurting, the kind who listened. Because even when the shadows stopped talking,